Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third day of CMU Energy Week 2021. We are so glad to have you here for our Investor Forum and Pitch Showcase. So welcome to this virtual platform today. I want to send out a special thank you to the team at the Scott Institute, and I'm going to talk about us in just a minute. A special thank you to Reed McManigal, Aswarya Raja, and Daniela Greenman, who you will become very familiar with during the course of today. Institute for Energy Innovation at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that is where we were coming to you from. I wanted to make sure that you have my contact information. Please do reach out to me on LinkedIn, Anna J. Siefken. And I also want to make sure that you have an opportunity to connect with us this week. So we are using both Twitter and LinkedIn primarily, but we want to make sure that you know how to get in touch with us, including signing up for our newsletter if this is the first event you've attended with us. So the Scott Institute is deeply committed to a sustainable low carbon energy future. We're an R1 university at Carnegie Mellon. And so the Scott Institute is the virtual hub for all of our energy related research. So we focus on outreach, entrepreneurship, and education. We see ourselves as the center point for a lot of activity in the Pittsburgh region, as well as the United States and beyond. So if you want to read more about the Carnegie Mellon University Energy Institute, which is the Scott Institute, we have an annual report on the front page of our website, which is cmu.edu/energy. And there you'll read about the incredible work that we're doing on technologies, efficiencies, and computation. So what do we do at the Scott Institute? We support faculty and student research. We work with partnerships of energy initiatives and programming, much like this, so that more people know more things about what's happening at Carnegie Mellon. So I want to talk for a minute about that fourth point, which is entrepreneurship. So we are an institute within a university. We are not an incubator or an accelerator. However, we partner deeply with not only the NREL IN2 program, but the American Made Solar Prize. And we have actually gotten about $218 million for our companies, the companies that are alumni, students, PhDs, faculty, et cetera. So even though we are not officially an incubator, we actually are actively involved in this space. This is a snapshot of some of the companies that that have come out of Carnegie Mellon, and some of these companies are actually on our agenda today. So how do you partner with Carnegie Mellon? Well, you can support research, you can attend our webinars, you can volunteer with us, you can recruit our students to your companies, you can hire an intern, but we definitely want to make sure that you're following us through our newsletter. I did want to let you know about additional programming that we have coming up in the future. Of particular note, on April 13th, we have a distinguished lecture with Martin Keller, who is the NREL director. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about Energy Week and this event that you have joined. So we are on day 3, the Investor Forum and Pitch Showcase. But we do have a student poster competition, so you can find your future employee through their student research. And on Friday of this week, we have the American Made Solar Prize Round 4 Set Pitch Showcase, another excellent opportunity for investors. So today, my colleagues are going to talk more about today's agenda, but I did want to let you know sort of the run of show generally speaking. So between now and 3:15, we have our public event where all of our startups are going to be pitching. The Zoom webinar will end, and then we'll go into private meetings. So we're so glad for those of you who have joined us now through 3:15 to see the teams. And just know that in the afternoon, we will have private sessions where the investors can meet one-on-one with teams. Next couple of days, as I mentioned, we have a poster competition and that American Made Solar Prize. And at the end of the day on Friday, I want to let you know about a networking session that we have of particular interest. In fact, I'm going to go right to that. It's on March 25th, Friday. It's our next networking opportunity. It's from 4 until 5 p.m. So if you've registered for that, you will get, and I have the Tuesday information here, but there is Friday information as well that will come out via email. So look for that if you've registered for REMO. And finally, I want to thank our 2020 sponsors. I know it's 2021, but we wanted to make sure that we thanked all of those that have been supportive of us through this year of virtual time together. And with that, I'm going to actually stop sharing my slides, and my colleagues are going to pick up. Daniela is going to talk to us about the logistics for the afternoon.
Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Daniela Greenman, and I'm the Programming and Event Specialist for the Wilton E. Scott Institute. It's really a pleasure to have you all here. I'm going to begin sharing my screen so that we can go over the agenda and logistics for today's Investor Forum and Pitch Showcase.
I'm trying to stop sharing.
Okay.
All right. Brian, can you help me stop sharing?
Danielle, can you see if you can just start your share? It should overtake it.
Okay, it says yes, I should be good here. All right, that work?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, thank you everyone for being here. We have 20 live pitch presentations from energy and clean tech startups today. First, as Anna said, this was a competitive process. Thank you all so much, and kudos to you all for making it to here today. We're very excited to hear you. As Anna mentioned, we're going to run through the agenda for today. So in a little bit more detail, we are in the welcome and introduction. We're going to get started with session 1 at 1:15, and that will extend until 2:15, giving the first 10 startups the chance to present their pitch presentations to the investors. At 2:15 to 3:15, we'll then go into session 2 for startups 11 through 20. Between 3:15 and 3:20, this is the break that we were mentioning before that will give investors the chance to catch up on their scheduling their meetings with startups, and also give you all the chance to transition from Zoom webinar to the Zoom meeting. Again, just a reminder that today's events are private and are only for startups that are presenting and for pre-registered investors. If you are in the audience today and you have not signed up or have not signed up for a startup, please let Asoria know. So moving into the order of presentations for today, as you guys can see, this is the first 10 startups that will be presenting between 1:15 to 2:15. Please feel free to take a picture of this order now. I'll stay on the screen for a couple of seconds, especially for teams 1 through 10 that want to make sure that they're in their correct order.
There's no screen share, Daniela.
Pardon me, you can't see it?
Nope, only you.
I'm seeing it right now.
I'm seeing it as well.
So I can't tell
Someone
whoever
sent
that
me
was,
the
but
image.
But I can send you the order via email. Right, I'll do that right away.
Thanks.
all right, I'm going to move on to the next 11 through 20, if everyone's all right. And again, please feel free to take a screenshot of this so that you know your order coming up for this afternoon. All right, moving on. So let's talk a little bit about the presentation guidelines for today. As you all know, each startup will have exactly 4 minutes for their pitch presentation. At the end of those 4 minutes, you all are going to hear an audio cue from me to wrap up. And that, let's see if I can get it playing, will be this sound. I'll open my mic and play that sound for you all so that you know that it's time to wrap up. Also, your mics and your camera will automatically be muted and turned off. This is to make sure that all the teams get an equal amount of time to present and that we're staying on track for the day. For all the presenters today, we recommend that you do run a timer on your end as well. We're not able to provide in-between time checks. So though hopefully you have practiced for your 4 minutes, please run a timer on your end so that you feel comfortable with your time as well. For the investors that are here with us today, first of all, thank you so much for joining us and for your commitment to today's pitch showcase and forum. After each startup presentation, you're going to have 2 minutes to record your feedback in the startup pitch feedback form. This is really valuable feedback for the startups that are here today. Not only are you allowed to, of course, give feedback for all of the startups, though it's not mandatory. We do want to encourage you to fill out that form for everyone or as many as possible, because this will, of course, help the startups refine their pitch presentations for future opportunities. This is also a reminder to sign up for one-on-one meetings with the startups that do interest you after their presentations today. You have the link for the meeting schedule, and please sign up in there during the day, and you'll also get an extra 5 minutes, again, between that 3:15 and 3:20 time to log on and make sure that you're signing on, really 3:15 to 3:30 before we officially start the investor meetings. After the pitch showcase, again, that 5 meetings to drop off, and we'll get started at 3:30 promptly. So please log back on into the Zoom meeting at 3:20. Investors, this is a feedback form that you'll be filling out for all the startups in between their presentations. If for any reason you don't have access to the feedback form, please email Aswarya at arajapra@andrew.cmu.edu with the name, title, and organization so that she can make sure to send that over to you as soon as possible. Just want to leave a little moment here for any questions at this point before we move forward. So I'm just going to give us a couple of minutes for any questions. I see we have maybe one here.
I see a question.
I think Beth Aswarya can get back to you on your participation today. No problem. All right, if there are no other questions at that time, also guys, feel free if you do have questions to drop them in the Q&A window during the day, and we'll be sure to address them as we move along. If there are no others, I'll continue. Okay. So with that, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen, and we are going to get started with our pitch presentations. So we're going to kick off with Griffin Schultz of Rapid Flow Technologies. Let me stop share.
Hello, this is Griffin. Are you able to hear me okay?
Griffin, that's perfect. So I am going to give you a 5-second countdown, and then I'll mute myself and I'll get you started.
Great. And you can see my slide?
It looks perfect. Yes, we can see you and your slides.
Great. Thanks.
All right. And then it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Griffin Schultz, and I'm the CEO of Rapid Flow Technologies Corporation, where we're using AI to reimagine urban mobility and reduce emissions. So everyone's been stuck in traffic. I don't need to explain the problem, but that's the business problem that we're solving. But you might not know that this costs hundreds of billions of dollars per year, and the problem is not going away with COVID. And the current solutions in the market, they aren't solving this problem, not only from a technical standpoint, but just as importantly, from a funding and a business model standpoint. And the opportunity here is huge. If we can save just 10 seconds per traveler per intersection, we can save billions of dollars in large cities like New York, even in smaller cities like Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is estimated, if we could save 10 seconds per intersection per traveler, we can save as much as $500 billion globally. And from an emissions standpoint, that's the equivalent of removing 25 million cars per year. So the opportunity here is huge. And I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is Rapid Flow Tech doesn't save 10 seconds per intersection, unfortunately. But fortunately, the good news is we save 11 seconds per traveler per intersection. We make dumb intersections smart. SureTrack is an AI optimization software system that we sell to cities. It uses passive detection, usually a video detector, to tell us what's going on at the intersection. And then our AI optimizes that intersection, and its objective function is to reduce total delay as much as possible at the intersection. It executes that plan by communicating with the traffic signal and changing the lights green, yellow, red. It's not rerouting people like Google Maps and Waze. We can actually make those systems better. We're just optimizing the lights. And because we're using passive detection, vehicles don't have to do a thing to get on average 30% improvement. We've sold this core solution to 18 cities in North America, and cities love SureTrack, but they have two business model problems. One, they just don't have enough money to deploy it citywide. Even if they do, they're paying for the cost and handing the savings off to Amazon, Uber, Lyft, and you and I as we drive through the city. There's no value-based funding model. That's where our add-on solution Routecast comes in. It creates a self-funding model that benefits everyone. Here's how it works. We still need baseline SureTrack with passive video detection. So vehicles don't have to do a thing, and everybody gets 30% improvement. But on top of that, if just a small subset, as small as 5 to 10% of vehicles can share their route with us, either through their cell phone like Google Maps or Waze, or through embedded connected vehicle technology, we can get up to 40% incremental improvement on top of the 30% from passive detection. And we're not just giving these cars green lights, they're giving SureTrack better information so that it can optimize better. That's what this blue line is. These are the Routecasters sharing better information. And you can see they get 25 to 40% improvement. And the non-Routecasters are the yellow line. They also get improvement because, again, SureTrack has better information, and the red is the average of the two. So this opens up a whole new business model. We can go to a city and say, this is no cost to you. It's going to get paid for by just 5 to 10% of travelers who want to share their route and get that improvement. 90% get it for free, and we're going to split the revenues with you and create a revenue generating system at your intersection. So we're solving this problem from a technology perspective with AI, but we're also solving it from a business model and funding perspective. And that's what's going to allow us to have this impact and reduce emissions, approximately 1,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide per intersection per year, to make cities more livable and easier to do business in, and much more sustainable in the future. So that's us at RapidFlow. We're looking for investors raising about a $5 million round, and I'd love to talk with folks later, and I appreciate
Thank you, Griffin. Griffin, that was a wonderful presentation on behalf of RapidFlow Technologies. Investors, please take these next 2 minutes to fill out your feedback forms. In the meantime, we are going to queue up our next startup, Mark Hofskek of Conservation Labs.
Am I connected?
You are, Mark. We can see you and we can see your slides. This is perfect. I will open my mic again when it's time for you to begin. We'll let the investors finish up their feedback forms for RapidFlow.
Very good.
Thank you.
We are seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left side of your upcoming slides, just so you know. But
it's the best I can do.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I also just want to take this time to remind our investor panel, for those of you who did sign up earlier with us, you were limited to 5 meetings today. And we just wanted to let you know that we've opened that up. So you are welcome to please insert yourself in other meetings, more than 5, if you find the interest today after the presentations. We have about 30 seconds left. All right, investors, please finish up your final comments for RapidFlow Technologies. We are going to get started with Mark of Conservation Labs. Mark, I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown if you feel ready to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good to meet everybody. My name is Mark Hofskek. I'm a mathematician and the founder and CEO at Conservation Labs. Our mission is to enable cost-effective and sustainable water use. Every year in the US alone and in the built environment alone, unwanted water use costs Americans some $70 billion. And that comes in different forms. And to make it personal first, you have nearly a 100% chance of a catastrophic leak in your lifetime, a leak that causes an average of $10,000 in damages. In the commercial space, right now, 1 in 3 commercial properties have some type of leak in motion. But then there is unwanted water use through inefficient or unwanted behaviors or inefficient appliances. That's 15 to 20% of our water bill month in and month out. So whether it is a home, a multi-tenant property, or a restaurant, folks are concerned about the rising cost of water, the impact to their bottom line, as well as the damage it can cause. Now, there are a number of solutions in the marketplace today that can address these challenges. However, these solutions cost hundreds of dollars, require a certified plumber to install, or require that you place a device at every single location in the property. We saw a better way. We cracked the code with our first product, H2O. We invented a way to make a microphone understand water flow with machine learning. So when you're in a commercial structure or home, anytime the water flows, whether that's the cleaning crew in the kitchen or a shower, water's rushing through to that location. You can actually hear it in the pipes. And H2O can too. So we can convert that sound data to accurate water flow estimates, classification of water flow, leak alerts, and custom conservation recommendations. So with H2O, no plumbers required. And for about $100, we can protect and monitor and keep safe an entire house. So 1 sensor is required for an entire house, restaurant, or similar sized property. With larger properties, different configurations are required. So we've been piloting H2O for the last few years. We are in hotel groups in Egypt, social housing in the UK, homes in Australia, and homes, restaurants, and many different types of multi-tenant properties all across the US. Our goal is to create over 10x in value for every business every year. That comes in the form of saving water, whether that's efficiency or leaks. For every dollar saved in water, there is over $1 saved in sewage and energy costs. And then of course, there's mitigating the damage from water, including reduced maintenance, and then even income gains for commercial properties. We are now fulfilling our first 2,000 orders with pilots as well as customers, full-on customers with names like Comcast, NBC Universal, the city of Burbank, California, Alliance Laundry, Zurich Insurance Group, and over 20 restaurants, including names like Arby's, Chili's, and Dairy Queen. We've been around for some time. The idea came in 2014. The inspiration was a leak in my own home. 2 years later, the company was formed. 2 years after that, quit my job and took on first investment from Amazon and Techstars. And now 2 years later, we are launching the product. We've raised over $5 million in investment to date, and we are well positioned for growth. I'm Mark Kovsek, and that's Conservation Labs. Our mission is to enable cost-effective and sustainable water use.
Thank you, Mark. With 15 seconds to spare. Investors, if you could please take the time now to begin filling out your feedback forms. Mark, we are going to remove your spotlight and share screen. And in the meantime, we're going to have our next startup, Urban Electric Power. Anne-Marie Augustus, if you could prepare to have your mic and video on. Investors, please complete your final comments for Mark at Conservation Labs. Anne-Marie Augustus, thanks for joining us today on behalf of Urban Electric Power. I am going to count you down if you're ready.
Okay.
Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie Augustus. I'm the Vice President of Operations and co-founder of Urban Electric Power. I'm really excited to introduce all of you today to Urban Electric Power, a zinc battery technology company. Shown here in a rather artsy photo is our manufacturing plant, which is located in Pearl River, New York, just 45 minutes north of Manhattan. Urban Electric Power revolutionizes battery storage technology. Everyone recognizes the cell on the left. This is your standard primary alkaline battery used in remote controls, your children's toys, smoke alarms. The trusted safety and reliability of the alkaline chemistry is partly why ARPA-E funded us and our team when we were at the City College of New York, working on ultra low cost battery technology that could help make much needed changes to the US grid and abroad. So we are the first company to manufacture rechargeable alkaline technology for thousands of times. To highlight some of our installations, shown here is an all-electric home that we did in Connecticut, where we successfully and safely sited our batteries in the basement. We also show a grid-tied solar solution that we did in India. This year, we're really excited to do a 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt hour battery backup system at the University of California Supercomputer Center in San Diego. We're providing a 2-hour solution in the same area where lead acid was only providing 15 minutes. We're also working with the Navajo Nation and Navajo utilities in that region to demonstrate alkaline superior performance in high temperatures. Here in Pearl River, where I am, we're currently manufacturing energy storage systems for ongoing installations globally. The plant can produce 100 megawatt hours a year. We're scaling to 1 gigawatt hour by 2023. In parallel, we're building a fully automated line in India that will come online at the end of this year and be 200 megawatt hours a year. Just some highlights about the company. The market is very vast in battery energy storage, scaling from $100 billion today to $140 billion in 2025. Zinc and manganese dioxide are both very sustainable technologies, easily recyclable and known primary methods. We are scaling from $160 a kilowatt hour today down to $50 a kilowatt hour by 2024, largely due to volume procurement cost reductions. And UEP has double revenue potential. We do well by doing good. We estimate that we can scale to gigawatt hour capacity and break even by 2024. Our competitive advantage compared to lead acid and dangerous lithium ion and low efficiency flow batteries, UEP offers a scalable alternative to help the US meet the needs of a changing climate and help with intermittent renewables. We're currently active in commercial and industrial renewables and utility sectors. We're working with folks like Mitsubishi, Siemens, and Con Edison to demonstrate the technology. We have raised $36 million to date, $25 million in equity, $11 million in non-dilutive funding. We've been working with folks like the Godrej Group, New York Ventures, and the technology has been well vetted by UL, DNV, the EPA, Department of Energy, and Department of Defense. We seek cost and safety as key selling points for our technology growth, breaking even in 2024 and scaling to 65 gigawatt hours in annual capacity by 2028. And finally, this is our team. It includes a lot of the original technology inventors, including Professor Banerjee, our CEO, myself, Gautam Yadav, Jinxiao Wang. Our board also includes Mr. Jamshed Godrej of the Godrej Group himself, recognized as one of Forbes' Green Billionaires for his efforts to displace toxic lead acid with safe zinc UEP technology. I want to thank everyone for your time and attention today, and look forward to connecting with you in the network session later. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. 5 seconds to spare. That was wonderful. We will give the investors a chance to, there we go, a chance to fill out the feedback forms for Urban Electric Power. As we have Justin Tunis of Pliant Energy Systems prepared to turn his mic and video on and share his screen. In the meantime, investors, please complete your feedback forms.
Justin, you'll just want to swap your display settings there.
Yeah, on screen.
There you go.
Investors, please complete your final comments and feedback for Anne-Marie Augustus of Urban Electric Power. Our next startup is Justin Tunis, presenting for Pliant Energy Systems. Justin, whenever you're ready, I can give you a 5-second countdown.
All right, sure.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, my name is Justin Tunis, and I'm presenting on behalf of Pliant Energy Systems. So right now, one major issue facing a lot of the globe is many people do not have access to nearby water sources, especially for clean drinking water and for irrigation. Similarly, another large issue facing the globe, I'm sure many of you are familiar with, is the rising problem of climate change and pollution. At the same time, many areas of the globe don't have electricity at all. Pliant Energy Systems solution to these problems is a renewable, 100% renewable, zero pollution, passive water pump and generator. It's easy to deploy, it's easy to maintain, and it won't hurt people that touch it or animals or animal farms. And it's also extremely resistant to incoming debris. So any rocks or kelp or ropes that may flow in the water will not tangle any turbines or blades that might be susceptible to damage in that way. So right now there's a pump that can sit in a river and pump water to nearby areas. And there also exists a generator, which similarly sits in the water and generates electricity. You can see a quick demonstration of the fin technology that captures the water flow in order to create power. And on the right, you can see the simplicity of the deployment. On the top, you see the challenge that is implementing a bladed turbine into a riverbed. And on the bottom, this is our solution, which relies only on a tether or a tree branch or like a bridge to connect to. So in the past, we've had success with completing phase 1 SBIR funded by the Department of Energy. Right now, we are working in phase 2 of SBIR program. We have gotten funding from NYSERDA and the Office of Naval Research for a generator prototype, which was also completed successfully. We have a spin-off robot, which is funded by the Department or the Office of Naval Research, which is now in its second phase, which got $4.5 million of funding to proceed. And lastly, we have a large number of patents and technological understanding, which will help us greatly moving forward. So you can see this is the pump in action. This is the result of the SBIR program, phase 1, and this is our successful prototype. And this is an example of the generator. So you can see passively using the water's energy to create electricity and pump water. And here's a list of patents that we hold related to this technology. So from here, our goals are to finish the phase 2 SBIR successfully. This will provide, a much better version of the prototype that we finished in the first SBIR phase. After that, we begin the SBIR phase 3, commercialization, getting in touch with NGOs. And lastly, we finish the generator and pump components. Thank you.
Perfect timing, Justin. Thank you so much for your presentation. Investors, if you could begin completing your feedback form for Pliant Energy Systems. In the meantime, we'll get ready for Michael Booth of Next Gen Battery Technologies.
Michael, you have the same one. So if you go to display settings up in the top left of your notes, we're seeing your notes. So
Yeah, I'm not finding display settings right now.
it's, your mouse is, it's in the, you see where it says end slideshow? Right above where your mouse is.
In slideshow.
Your mouse is close to the right. Display
Yep, to
settings.
the right, display settings. Just go to the, not all the way. It's in the top left.
Top left.
Yep. Yep. Here, I might be able to mark. No, I don't have that ability. So you see where it says show taskbar, just to the very right of that. It says display settings.
Anything, but I'll click it anyway. It says
A little bit to the right, a little more. You'll be able to swap your displays so that yeah, there you go. So we want to click on that and swap presenter. Yep.
yeah.
There we go. That's what we need. Perfect. Thank you. Okay.
All right, investors, if you could finish up your final comments for Justin Tunis of Pliant Energy Systems. Michael, when you're ready, I will give you a 5-second countdown. At 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi there, I'm Mike Booth, and I'm here to talk about delivering safe next level lithium battery technology. We have a massive market, of course, but there are critical obstacles that are going to interfere with the development of this market. The first obstacle I want to point out is flammability. There are too many cases of lithium battery fires. Secondly is capacity or energy storage. The max energy storage limit expressed as the time or the range of distance that an automobile can travel between charges is limited. Cost has come down, but it is still not economical for many markets. And a cost that people rarely think about, except developers, is that the cost of insurance for storage projects is becoming either prohibitive or almost impossible to get. NextGen has a next level solution that is based upon materials. It's a complete non-flammable high voltage cell architecture. It starts with our high capacity cathode, which has 25% higher energy density or capacity at higher voltages. It's cobalt free, meaning lower cost and more readily accessible sourcing for security purposes. Solid electrolyte, non-flammable, high voltage capable. It's compatible with higher energy anodes, including lithium anodes, because of its impenetrability to dendrites. We have a series of key progress elements today. We licensed this cathode from the US Army that developed this technology, and they presented it to us with a method of making it in 10-gram units. We scaled this to kilogram level capabilities, and we are ready to ship it. Our cathode storage and cycling performance has been actually heavily tested and demonstrated and verified by a US Army lab team. And they inform us that they favor this over what we call NMC variants. The non-flammable high voltage electrolyte has been demonstrated by a successful NSF phase 1 proposal. As part of our phase 2, we have enrolled 5 high-profile industrial partners who want to look at its application to resolve several of their internal issues in their products, particularly related to safety. With respect to the cathode, the Army has created an application team to study emerging high voltage electrolytes with our cathode. Our path forward. We're seeking what we call a seed round funding of $3 million. We're quite happy to talk more about it. We want to manufacture 5 amp hour commercial scale batteries for customer demonstration. We want to expand our commercial application partnerships, having learned the value, as the Shakers would say, that many hands make work light. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Mike, for your presentation. That was wonderful. Investors, if you could please fill out your feedback forms for next-gen battery technologies. In the meantime, we're going to get HQuest Vanguard up next. George Skopsov is here to present, and we're going to give him a chance to get his mic and camera, screen share all on. Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
This looks good.
We
Yeah.
can, George. Thank you.
Okay, this looks good.
Yes, we'll wait for the investors to finish up and I'll cue you in. Investors, please complete your feedback forms for next-gen battery technologies. We're going to move on to George Skopsov of HQuest Vanguard. George, when you're ready, I will give you a 5-second countdown.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Wonderful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm George Skopsov, founder and CEO of HQuest. At HQuest, our ambition is to solve the most pressing problem that the petrochemical industry is facing today. We want to change the way it sources and applies energy in its plants and processes. And our goal is to do this in the most seamless and non-disruptive manner possible. The chemical industry is essential to the modern quality of life. It has touched and originated almost any manufactured object you can own. And the United States is the top chemical producer in the world, accounting for 20% of the world's production. It owes its success and growth over the past decade to the shale revolution. Here in Pittsburgh, we found ourselves in the epicenter of Marcellus Shale. It's only one shale play, and it alone has more than 150 trillion cubic feet of proven reserves of natural gas. This abundant, cheap natural gas has been a boon for chemical production. But while some of the natural gas serves as a low-cost feedstock to the steam crackers, most of it is simply burned for its energy value. So the chemical industry, specifically petrochemicals, has a very heavy environmental footprint. In the US, it's the manufacturing sector with the highest on-site energy consumption, more than 500 quadrillion BTU per year, and it's a major contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions. Thanks to the abundant and cheap natural gas, this heavy footprint is on the upward trend. Given these trends, how can chemical producers decarbonize their production pathways and meet their CO2 reduction commitments? At HQuest, we have developed the tools necessary for decarbonizing production of the key platform chemicals, ethylene, as well as other olefins aromatics, and hydrogen. These tools harness microwave energy. Microwave plasma is a very effective energy delivery mechanism. With microwave plasma, we can replace giant furnaces, heat exchangers, and miles of expensive in-canal tubing with direct, efficient, and rapid electric energy inputs. Unlike catalysts, microwave plasma is not sensitive to the quality or composition of feedstock. This translates into modular, flex-scale production of chemicals from all of natural gas, not just ethane. And this natural gas can come from many different sources. These low-cost modules can be deployed at the smallest scales for on-demand field operation. They can also be assembled into trains to incrementally build up capacity at green or existing brownfield sites. The electric energy can be completely non-fossil for zero CO2 operation, but it can also come from the same natural gas stream, resulting in as much as 45% CO2 reduction compared to conventional ethane cracking. Best of all, it's more than competitive with conventional ethylene production, especially at smaller scales. The same solution can be applied to valorization of flared waste streams, which are responsible for 40% of oil and gas CO2 emissions worldwide, production of high-performance carbons, and even closing the loop on the circular economy. All with site production of low-cost, zero CO2 hydrogen for a fraction of energy and cost required by electrolysis. Typical natural gas pyrolysis has a carbon problem. For every kilogram of hydrogen, 3 kilograms of carbon have to find a home. We don't have that problem. Our solid carbons actually is naturally sequestered in the chemical products. But when we want to make solid carbons, we can. Our carbons are rich with graphene and don't have metal contamination, so they're not run-of-the-mill carbon blacks. In our development, we benefited from the DOE and NSF grant funding totaling almost $2 million, and we collaborated with the top research institutions in our area. Today, we have 6 employees, 7 granted patents, and more patents are pending. We have 1.2 million in revenue under current R&D contracts, and 330,000 more is under negotiation. We are ready to take our technology out of the lab and into the field. We are ready to change the way our industry powers its plants.
Awesome, George. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation on behalf of HQuest Vanguard. Investors, if you could please start completing your feedback forms. In the meantime, we are going to get our next startup ready to present. Michael Georgio of Lean FM Technologies is up next.
Thank you, Daniela, and you're doing a wonderful job managing all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it. Glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
All right, investors, if you could complete your feedback for HQuest Vanguard. Up next, we're going to lean in to Lean FM Technologies with Michael Georgio. Michael, if you're ready, I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown.
I'm ready. Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you're safe and well. I'm Mike Georgio, CEO of Lean FM Technologies. We are a property technology startup headquartered in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The problem we are attacking is the energy waste in commercial and other structures around the world. Just in the commercial building sector in the United States, over $50 billion a year is wasted in energy costs. The primary benefactor are HVAC systems, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Recurring hardware, software defaults, a lot of troubleshooting by technicians in the field, and very complex buildings today in the building systems, none of which two are alike, contribute to these factors. The market areas include these sectors. Lean FM currently has worked overseas in commercial office and resorts. In the United States, we are focused on universities and hospitals. In the hospital healthcare sector, Mayo Clinic, Tri-Health Cincinnati, Cleveland Clinic, and Penn State Hershey are some of our top clients. And in the higher education circuit, Carnegie Mellon and University of Maryland are some of our early contracts. But any of these, any building owner who maintains, operates, pays a utility bill with a centrally managed system, that is our focus. Here's an overview of the solution. This is the prescriptive with 3 patents, Lean FM prescriptive software. It reads the control logic of a building automation system together with mechanical drawings, 3D rendering called a BIM, Building Information Model. We do the deep dive through an AI machine learning platform, create a digital twin, do the point matching, and part of the result are these user interface reports. On the left, you can see the 3D visual depiction of faults in a building. We also provide customized reports for our clients that go to the root cause, which is the key benefit of a machine learning platform. You get to the root cause problem that is affecting the software or hardware, and you can estimate the energy waste if not corrected. Value proposition includes the cost, again, reducing up to 30% of energy, reducing the labor efforts, sustainability. Many jurisdictions have requirements by law and ordinances for sustainability goals. We can support that because when you save energy, you reduce greenhouse gas. Occupant comfort, because there are no false alarms in operations, the air quality is improved, the system operates properly, and the operations are run much better. This is our management team, Pine Liu, Dr. Bertrand Kinja, the co-founders from Carnegie Mellon University. I joined as the CEO, and Annette Fabry leads our business development efforts across the globe. We're on traction. We are a startup. We have just under 4 million square feet under contract. And as we scale, our next big milestone is the magic $1 million in annual recurring revenue. We know who our competitors are. They've been around for over 30 years. Lean FM has been established in just 2016. So we know the challenges, but we're up to this, what's ahead of us. And we certainly are seeking your support. Here's our funding profile through the years: seed funding, research grants from the National Science Foundation, SBIR, phase 1 and 2. We're currently wrapping up this funding round, which has now gone for $1 million. The next big leap to 1 million is that Series A. So with your help, with your attention, with your focus, with your contacts and connections, we thank you for your attention. We look forward to talking with you and hope that you can support and believe in Lean FM. Thank you all. Stay safe. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Michael. Fantastic presentation on behalf of Lean FM Technologies. Investors, if you could begin to complete your feedback form. In the meantime, we're going to prepare Jared Sylvia to get his screen share up, mic and camera on, to present on behalf of Blue Dot Photonics. Investors, just a reminder for you that if you are having any trouble at all seeing your investor org and the sign-up sheets for meetings later today, please email Aswaria. Again, that is ARAJAPRA@andrew.cmu.edu. Hopefully you have her email address from previous communications. If you don't, please feel free to drop it in the Q&A window. But yes, if you're having any trouble with seeing those meeting slots, please email her right away. All right, investors, please complete your feedback forms for Lean FM Technologies. Next up, we have Jared Sylvia presenting for Blue Dot Photonics. Jared, wonderful to have you here. We can see you and see your screen share. So whenever you're ready, I can give you a 5-second countdown.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Danielle.
And at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jared Sylvia, CEO of Blue Dot Photonics. And at Blue Dot, we're harnessing more power from light to help drive down the cost of solar power for everyone. Right now, solar power only represents 1% of the global energy mix. We're still heavily reliant on fossil fuel power generation, internal combustion engines. And for millions of people, they don't even have basic energy needs met. We need more solar power more than ever, but we need to do that. In order to do that, we need to have the cost of solar power continue to come down. One of the best ways to do that would be to increase the efficiency of solar panels, but there's some challenges with that. Efficiency in solar panels today, it's plateauing. Solar panel manufacturers are desperate for innovation, looking for next generation technologies. We've gone out and we've talked to them and they've said, they've moved mountains for a 10% performance gain, or how they're fighting like crazy for even a 0.5% performance gain in a single R&D cycle. Going from a 22% efficient panel to a 22.1% efficient panel is huge for them. In addition, because they're so inefficient, they're wasting 77% of the energy or so, they generate a lot of waste heat. And that actually hurts yield. As silicon solar panels heat up, they produce less power. And high heat and UV exposure also reduces the lifetime of the panel. So again, when we're thinking about decreasing the cost of solar power, we want the panels to last as long as possible. So at Blue Dot, we have a solution. We're creating an enhanced solar glass that's able to capture a lot of the wasted energy in panels today. We're able to produce 16% more useful solar energy, and as a result, drive down the cost of solar power by an additional 10%. How do we do it? So our technology starts with standard solar glass. We take that glass, coat it with a proprietary material my co-founders developed that's able to selectively absorb UV and blue light. That light is then converted into twice as much near-infrared light, which is much more efficiently converted into electricity by silicon solar cells. The power boosting solar glass is a drop-in replacement for the standard solar glass used today. So it goes into the existing manufacturing process used by panel manufacturers globally. The way we are looking to monetize this technology is through a licensing model with the glass manufacturers. So we, start upstream. Just to give you a quick rundown of the value chain, glass manufacturers today sell solar glass to panel OEMs who do the assembly, shipping it to installers. Blue Dot works upstream with the glass manufacturers. We provide them the power boosting materials to make the coating and services, and the glass manufacturers will coat the glass at their facilities. They then ship the enhanced solar glass to the panel OEMs, who then ship it to the installers in the field as in the enhanced panel. We receive a licensing fee in return of about $3 per panel for the rights to use our technology. The team, we are a spinoff from the University of Washington, co-founded Blue Dot in 2019. I joined with 10 years of business management experience in the energy clean tech sectors. My co-founders, Dan and Matt, are experts in the area of chemistry and material science, chemical engineering, really pivotal in the creation of this technology while at the UW. We have 2 full-time employees, a phenomenal set of advisors with experience in thin film electronics manufacturing, crystalline silicon PV development, et cetera. And we have a number of early stage investors who help seed us to help cover IP costs to get us up and running. We've now been able to show proof of concept devices in lab validating the potential performance improvements of our technology. We've conducted extensive customer discovery interviews, building relationships with some of the leading solar panel manufacturers in the world and others in the supply chain, many who've written letters of support, excited to work with us as we scale up our technology. And we've secured $1.5 million in non-dilutive funding. We're now looking to build prototypes, get them certified, do durability studies, and secure a pilot customer. We're looking to raise $1 million in investment to help us do that, giving us an 18-month runway. And so with that, I thank you for your time and look forward to you joining us to harness more power from light.
Thank you, Jared. Another phenomenal presentation from Blue Dot Photonics. Investors, if you could please begin to complete your feedback forms for Jared and Blue Dot Photonics. We are going to give the next startup a chance to get ready. Up next, we'll have Farm to Flame Energy presented by Kweku Gyamfi.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Hi, Kweku, welcome. Yes, we can see your screen, hear you, see you. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to start now, or no, I'll wait for the timer. And then I'll start.
Yeah, Kweku, we're going to let the investors finish up their feedback for Blue Dot Photonics in just a couple minutes, and I'll give you a cue.
Thank you.
Investors, please finish up your final feedback and comments for Blue Dot Photonics. We're now going to turn the stage over to Kweku Gyamfi to present Farm to Flame Energy. Kweku, if you're ready, I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown.
Okay, I'm ready. Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings. My name is Kweku Gyamfi, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Farm to Flame Energy. We have the universal biomass solution. So the problem that we're solving, 850 million people rely on expensive and polluting diesel generators for backup power during outages. This equates to $7.78 billion per country per year on average, and it costs 3 to 4 times the grid price when they operate on these generators for over 4 hours a day. 150,000 lives per year in each country are lost to the air pollution that comes from the toxic carbon monoxide in these diesel generators. Yet they live in the abundance of biomass feedstocks, which in the past haven't been used efficiently or productively for electricity generation until now. So who's affected? We have $150,000 in generator deployment across Northeast US, Cleantech Crusaders proving out this technology, and a $1.2 million collaboration replacing diesel generators at a Nigerian teaching hospital, thanks to Carnegie Mellon University. This is a team. Will McKnight is a co-founder and VP of sales. He secured that $1.2 million contract, a current Schneider Electric sales hero and the inventor of the combustion process. Stefano Alva, the CFO, who had the idea for the SBIR EPA grant that we applied to, and we've recently just been awarded that for $100K in a phase 1. An extensive cost model expertise, and he's the money man. And then Kwaku Jemfi, the co-founder and CEO, the generator inventor, currently with the $14 million project procurement in the States and the team leader. On this journey, we have the solution, which is the FTF 25 kilowatt generator, which diverts 150 tons per year away from landfills in these agricultural and residential wastes, and provides renewable baseload power at under 14 cents per kilowatt hour, less than half the cost of diesel. It's a state-of-the-art emissionless combustion process, which we house in this shipping container. And this process consists of a feed system, which feeds our powderized fuel to a vacuum-secured combustion chamber, which is also patented. And we generate smokeless combustion, powering a steam turbine and a boiler, which all fits inside of this generator in order to generate electricity. Our competitive advantage when looking at other options that include renewables, as well as current fossil fuel options for this backup power. We look at anaerobic digestion, which has unfortunately not been scaled up in the biomass energy industry for certain reasons, but it is 25 cents per kilowatt hour, which is not bad. It takes a while for the chemistry and biology to take place, around 10 days for the electricity generation. Solar is great. The storage is expensive with the batteries, 45 cents to 67 cents per kilowatt hour. That's throughout the life of the battery for this project. Diesel generators is 35 cents per kilowatt hour, very toxic to health. Farm to flame energy is 14 cents per kilowatt hour when including transportation, biomass costs, procurement, and the fuel processing costs. And that's 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Our competitive advantage is no methane, so no CH4, no conflict minerals that we're using, and no toxic emissions specifically relating to CO. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I am here to answer them, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in the one-on-one.
Thank you so much, Kwaku. Fantastic presentation. Investors, please begin to fill out your feedback forms for Farm to Flame Energy. In the meantime, we're going to get our next startup and last startup of session 1 queued up and ready to present. We'll have Josh Keister of Resilient Power Systems next. Okay, investors, please finish up your feedback forms for Kwaku and Form to Flame Energy. Next up, we will have Josh Keister of Resilient Power Systems presenting.
Hi, can you see my screen all right?
Yes, now we can see you. And whenever you're ready in slideshow view, I will cue you down.
Hi, I'm Josh Keister, President of Resilient Power Systems. We deliver containerized EV charging stations that eliminate on-site labor, engineering, permitting, and the physical area by up to 90%. Furthermore, we reduce the grid upgrades, so the charging equipment no longer depends on the existing grid capacity at a given site. On the screen, you can see there's 10 or more pieces of equipment required for a typical charging station. We got this picture from some friends of ours at Tesla that installed hundreds of charging stations all over North America. And they're excited about joining our company because they faced these problems deploying this infrastructure at scale. And so what we've been able to do with our proprietary technology is combine all of those pieces of equipment into a single container, only slightly larger than the container circled in the picture. And so we can install our equipment in as few as 1 or 2 days versus a few weeks to install all of the other equipment that's typically used. And with a footprint that's about 10% of the sizes of our competitors, we can be installed in many places where there's no other option, say like in a dense urban environment. The CEO of Rivian compared charging to a real estate problem. And with our small size and lack of dependence on the existing grid capacity, we have a lot of competitive advantages over companies like ChargePoint. Our friends from Tesla, gave us these pictures and time-lapse videos, and they, had many charging issues pop up in the field, like labor, during snowstorms and adverse weather, pieces of equipment showing up at different times. So this slide shows our proprietary system that connects directly to the power line. And that's how we eliminate the dependency on grid upgrades. This slide shows the difference between us and ChargePoint, and we're about a third of the costs of ChargePoint's chargers alone. And our system includes the installation, grid upgrades, and has much less permitting and engineering. We're 13 times smaller than Proterra, which is one of the only other groups that is offering containerized charging. Our systems have been proven up to 45,000 volts by Dominion Energy in the field. Accenture released a report that said the electrification of transportation represents a $2 trillion a year opportunity in North America and Europe alone. And that's why EV charging companies are trading at very high multiples now. We've seen a flood of companies that are going public at 30 to 40 times revenue multiples. And we're offering a large discount to that to select investors that have a strategic nature. And we have much higher IP value than a lot of these other companies. We've gotten 4 patents granted, and the high power level of our technology has a lot higher barriers to entry. But furthermore, we're profitable. We have similar profit revenue of Nuvi, which recently went public at a $108 million valuation. We have decades of experience and
thank you, Josh. We're going to have to wrap up your presentation there.
Thanks.
Investors, please begin completing your feedback forms for Resilient Power Systems. Great presentation, Josh. We are ending session 1 officially. Investors, if you continue to complete your feedback forms, we are going to get Tectonics queued up and ready to kick off session 2. As you all complete your feedback forms, I just want to provide a couple of reminders in the meantime. I'm going to share my screen. Just make sure that anyone that's only joined us for session 2 has these reminders. Sorry, Tectonics, I'll give you the platform in just a second.
Sure.
Why isn't that working? Let's try that again. All right, well, you all can see my screen for the meantime.
Would you like me to
Yes,
share
if you're
my
able to,
screen?
Aswaria, thank you.
Absolutely. 1 second.
Apologies, everyone, if you could hold for a moment.
Are you able to see it now?
I can, thank you.
Of course. Just tell me next slide and I'll move along.
Perfect. So again, thank you to all of our startups who presented in session 1. I'm sitting here incredibly impressed, as always, with all of your work and creativity and innovation. Fantastic, fantastic job. Moving into, and I will stop the alarm for investors filling out their feedback forms. Moving into session 2, just a reminder to all the investors, please complete the meeting schedule for everyone you want to meet with from session 1. If you don't, for any reason, have access to that schedule, please contact Aswaria. Her email is right here on screen, and she'll be sure to send that over to you. Again, we'll be joining the Investor Forum Zoom meeting in an hour. Next slide, please, Aswaria. Oh, sorry, final reminder again, if you all did sign up earlier and only signed up for 5 startups, this is now open to more than 5 meetings. So please feel free to go into that schedule and sign up for more if you are able to. We are about to kick off session 2, starting with Tectonics, and we'll be going through these next 10 teams from now until 3:15. Next slide. Again, each startup is going to have exactly 4 minutes. As you all heard, I have an alarm that I will play and open my mic at the end of the 4 minutes to cue you that your time is up, to wrap up your pitch, and for the investors to begin filling out their feedback forms. Your mics will be muted and cameras will be turned off at the end of your startup pitch presentations. Again, a reminder, if you're comfortable, please feel free to run a timer on your end as well, because there will not be in between time checks, just a notification at the end of your 4 minutes. Next slide. After each startup presentation, investors, again, thank you all for your commitment for being here today, for your expertise and feedback to these startups. You're going to have 2 minutes to record your feedback for the startups in the feedback form that you've been provided. Just a reminder again, just to sign up for those meetings for any of the startups that interest you. And at 3:15, we are going to drop off of this webinar and join a separate Zoom meeting link for all the startups to have a chance to meet one-on-one with the investors who are on the line today. That will begin promptly. The meeting will open at 3:20, and we'll give you a little bit of guidelines on how the meetings will flow, and officially start meetings at 3:30. So please be on the line by 3:20. Investors, this is the form you should be filling out in between startup presentations. Again, if for any reason you cannot access this form or don't have it, email Aswaria right away. And make sure to send her your name, title, and organization if you have, for some reason, any access issues, again, with that form. Does anyone have any questions as we kick off session 2? I see a question here. Let me know when where the startup feedback form can be found. Aswaria, that is from Andrea Course. So Andrea, would you mind emailing Aswaria at her email address here with your name, title, and organization? and she can address your question directly over email. Thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions at this time, we will get started. Just a note to everyone, if you do have questions later on, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A window and we will address them throughout the day. We are saddled in for the next hour, getting ready to kick it off with Terratonics. Johnny Kwang is going to take it off for us. Johnny, sorry if you could stop sharing your screen, we'll give Johnny the stage now.
Yeah, can you enable the video, please?
There you go.
Can you see the slides?
We can. And perfect. Now you're in slideshow view. Okay, Johnny, I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Johnny Huang, co-founder of Terratonics. Thanks to CMU Scott Institute for this pitching opportunity. There will be billions of IoT sensors around us for both consumer and industrial application. Most of them are powered by batteries. For billions of IoT sensors, millions of batteries need to be replaced per day. So just pull electricity out of thin air. Yes, we have such a solution based on RF radio frequency or RF energy harvesting. There's strong cellular, Wi-Fi, and TV signal in the air. Our harvester work like a solar panel for this signal, and we can harvest the sufficient energy to replace AA and AAA batteries. There was no effective way to convert ambient gigahertz RF signal into useful DC electricity until we made the breakthrough. My co-founder, Dr. Yi Luo, invented this terahertz MS diode while he was professor at Carnegie Mellon University here, which can achieve more than 100 times increase on the conversion or harvesting efficiency. Patent has been granted, and we have exclusive license from CMU. Just the IoT sensor market present a huge market opportunity for us. The total addressable market is estimated to reach 45 billion by 2035, with a CAGR of about 16%. Under these 4 main segments, we're focusing on 2 sub-segments: industrial IoT for oil, gas, and Bluetooth IoT for smart buildings. We're B2B, and we have a fabless business model and outsourcing manufacturing. Specifically, we sell harvest IC to IoT chipset manufacturer. We also provide a harvester and battery-free sensor node to sensor manufacturer and end customer. We released commercial prototype last year, available for pilot. Through participating in Shell's Game Changer program, we learned that replacing battery can incur high labor and logistic costs, and our solution can potentially save several $100s per IoT sensor over its life cycle. And our unit cost at the volume production is well below the value we provide. Shell recognized potential provide a non-dilutive seed grant to support our prototype development. We learned quite a lot through several accelerators. Won the first place award 4 months ago at the Mass Challenge. Through MCorp's manufacturing scale-up program, we improved our ML to 6 and 7 and validated our cost, and working on several attractive pilot opportunity in industrial IoT, in smart building and smart cities. In addition to ambient RF harvesting, our harvest can also work well with a local RF power source and millimeter wave signals to achieve high efficiency over the air power transmission. For example, we're now working with a 5G cellular signal at 30 gigahertz frequency range. These will allow us to provide higher transmitted power for a wider range of applications. As for the team, Yi was a faculty member here at CMU, and his previous work was a key support to 2016 Nobel Prize winner. I founded and managed startup before, and one of them had a successful exit. we're seeking seed investment to achieve several key milestones for the next 12 to 18 months. We have a breakthrough technology, attractive business model, and can achieve, create a huge impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Great presentation. Terratonics, thank you so much. Investors, if you could please complete your feedback forms for Terratonics. And in the meantime, we're going to get our next startup ready to present. Jesse Thornberg from Gridfruit is here for you all. We'll give you a couple minutes to finish your feedback forms and get started. All right, investors, please complete your feedback forms for Terratonics. I know all of you have been sitting for a long time, so a big stretch. This is probably a good time for it as we settle in for Jesse Thornberg. He is going to be presenting Gridfruit this afternoon. Jesse, we can see your video looks great. Share screen on. If you are ready, I will give you a 5-second countdown.
Alrighty, thanks.
Sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Daniela. I am Jesse Thornberg, co-founder of Gridfruit. We put unused data to work to benefit the power grid and food businesses by optimizing their commercial refrigeration. Think with me about the last time you walked through a supermarket and opened up one of those big freezer doors and watched the cold white air pour out on you. This represents a small loss in thermal energy at the store level, and they respond by turning on air compressors throughout the day to drive the temperature back down in a traditional thermostat system. They also have high demand peaks 3 to 4 times a day from each of the refrigerator and freezer systems from defrosting. And by the factory defaults, these defrost spikes often occur right in the evening when the whole grid is seeing a spike from residential power and commercial buildings piling up. So these evenings through much of the US represent the highest generation costs and the most dirty, highest polluting generation, which translates into high demand charges they pass on to their food business customers. Well, we entered this space, my co-founder and I, after studying together our PhDs at CMU, and we found basically the commercial refrigeration was the key to these food businesses. It's their highest electricity user and their second highest cost after labor. These systems are already collecting data, but typically that remains siloed right now and unused except in the case of emergency maintenance. So we take that data, it's dirty, bits are missing, noisy, so we process it with artificial intelligence, taking into account pricing signals, real-time needs of the grid, and then with our control signals, we optimize how the refrigeration is run in the store in coordination with HVAC, lighting, and other loads. And we see this as the first step to a larger platform where we can become the nest of commercial buildings, manage their many loads, as well as enabling rooftop solar and EV charging. We also have developed a dashboard. We've actually verified the physics-based digital twin models that allow us to customize to each store with a paid pilot in Southern California Edison, the second largest utility in the US. And we've recently added to that with this real-time dashboard that sends automated alerts when any variable of interest to the user goes out of bounds. We found we can provide each food store an average of 36K in savings per year, and we're charging them a flat subscription fee of base benchmark of 30% of those savings, are around 11K in revenue per store per year. And the more data we have, the more value we provide because we are using artificial intelligence. We also have the benefit of low-cost customer acquisition, where we can essentially scale across an entire chain with negligible per store cost and no need for staff in person at each new store. We have a number of competitors, but for the most part, they rely on hardware, which for the same value we can provide with software, which also gives us added flexibility, and we target the utility needs, demand response requirements in a new route. So I'm honored to be working with this multidisciplinary team. My own background is studying engineering at MIT and Stanford before I met my co-founder at CMU. He comes from a faculty position in electrical and computer engineering, where we also met our first full-time hire, Carolyn Goodman. And we have great advisors across legal, business, and technical realms. Currently looking for a 500K seed investment for our expanded paid pilots, and we hope some of you will be our next partners. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, on the money, Jesse. Extremely informative presentation. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Investors, please complete your feedback forms for Gridfruit. Over the next 2 minutes, we'll prepare to have Core Power Magnetics up next. And here presenting for them is Paul Ohodnicki. We'll give him a chance to get his mic and camera on. Just a couple moments. Nikhil, thank you for your question in the chat window. We did note that and just wanted to let you know that Aswaria is going to answer your question offline. But CMU Energy Week 2021 events will be available on YouTube likely next week for you all to check it out if you did want to catch any of the other events that maybe aren't available to watch live. All right. With that, investors, please complete all of your feedback and comments for Jesse Thornberg from Gridfruit. We are going to move into core power magnetics. Paul, we can see you, look great. Your screen is up, looks awesome. Just want to make sure we can hear you.
Hear me?
And we're going to give you a 5-second countdown. You can get started at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My name is Paulo Hodnicki. I'm joined here by Mike Ines, who's also on the line to talk to you today about core power magnetics. This is an early stage startup that was established in June of 2020, and we're delivering high performance magnetic cores to power the future. So core power magnetics is founded on an intellectual property portfolio, which was exclusively licensed from Carnegie Mellon. This includes proprietary alloy systems, as well as advanced manufacturing processes known as a scalable inline tension annealing process. By combining these two processes, core power magnetics can deliver advanced components in the form of engineered magnetic cores for inductors, transformers, and motors that are substantially smaller, lighter, and more efficient than conventional technologies, and also avoid the need for rare earths. Core power builds upon about $10 million in investment to date from the Department of Energy, as well as the Department of Defense. So the problem that core power is solving is that today's magnets are large and heavy and inefficient. This has been fine historically, but they're not suitable for the future. And the reason for that is electrification. So as we see projections of rapid increases in penetration of renewables and storage and other distributed generation, we have a need for lighter, more efficient, and more flexible power conversion technologies. And magnetics tends to dominate the size and weight. In addition, as electric vehicles are projected to grow in future years, and as we see near-term projections of adoption and growth of hybrid electric aircraft, we also see the need to overcome range anxiety, increase efficiencies, and reduce overall costs. The magnetics that core power can deliver help to overcome the size, the weight, the efficiency, and even the thermal limitations. Another key factor is overcoming the need for rare earth materials, which are a critical requirement in electric motors, which have significant supply chain as well as even national defense concerns. The technology in question is a class of metal amorphous nanocrystalline alloys commercialized by Core Power, licensed from Carnegie Mellon. These have enhanced magnetic properties, but also mechanical properties, which differentiates them from the market. This allows for applications in electric motors and also allows for the ability to manufacture properties in ways that aren't previously possible. This includes optimizing properties globally as well as locally within the material. The founding team is one of the key strengths of Core Power. So Professor Mike McHenry is the faculty member at Carnegie Mellon whose group these technologies spun out of. He's widely regarded as a pioneer in the field of soft magnetics. Was formerly a student in his group, and I've had the privilege of working with him over the last 15 years, taking these ideas from early stage to near commercial. Mike Ines joined us last year at company formation to help drive the commercialization strategy and brings a ton of expertise in corporate venture capital and clean energy technology commercialization. We're currently seeking a $1.2 million seed investment to allow us to build pilot scale manufacturing, perform critical hires, deliver on low volume production, and build a business case for high volume production. We're buffering this with strategic government investments, including successful DARPA and Air Force SBIRs and STTRs that allow us to customize the technology for DoD applications. We have had initial customer success, including a paid design effort last year, converted into a order this year, and that will be increased by an order of magnitude within the next few months upon successful delivery of the current order. So I'm Paulo Hodnicki from Core Power Magnetics. I encourage you to talk to myself and my colleague Mike if you're interested in joining us in this effort to power the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Great presentation. Mike, I know you're on the line, so I'll say thank you to you as well. I know you'll be joining later in our meetings. Investors, if you could please begin to fill out your feedback forms for Core Power Magnetics. And in the meantime, we'll prepare to have Building Ideas Group, or BIG, present. Here to represent them is Azizan Abdul Aziz. Thanks again, Paul. Investors, please complete your feedback for core power magnetics. And just another reminder that if you all have the schedule, please continue, feel free to fill in your meeting slots for this afternoon. We're going to move on to Building Ideas Group, or BIG, with Azizan Abdul Aziz. Azizan, if you are ready, I will give you a 5-second countdown to begin.
I think I am. You can see my presentation screen,
Yes,
correct?
we can see your screen. We can see and hear you beautifully.
Okay, I'm ready. Thank you,
5,
Daniela.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon. My name is Azizan Aziz, and I'm the founder and CEO of Building Ideas Group. Today, I'll be talking about BuildFit. BuildFit is a building portfolio energy management platform that integrates data from various sources and use machine learning algorithms to reduce resource consumption and ensure that building occupants are comfortable and satisfied with their environment. A little bit of our background. We started exploring the use of big data in building analytics in 2011. We received multiple fundings from various federal agencies to develop and refine this technology. Since then, we have analyzed more than 7,000 plus buildings. So the biggest challenge for large building portfolio owners and operators is to be able to have access to the state of performance for all buildings in their portfolio. Here's where BuildFit comes in. Key findings from this research include 35% electric energy reduction in plug loads, 15% reduction in total energy consumption at the military base, and we've also identified 22 to 55% potential savings in a private corporation and a city building portfolio. So as mentioned earlier, we integrate data from various sources and use machine learning to reduce resource consumption and improve indoor environmental quality. We generate recommendations for building stakeholders to ensure that the organization meets its operating, performance, sustainability goals and constraints. And the platform leverages pre-existing data sources already embedded in the building system. So BuildFit provides building performance information at the owner's fingertips in an easy to understand format with actionable insight. In this example, building operators can quickly get a sense on how the buildings perform within its own group and how the performance stack against the national median. So for the city of Pittsburgh, quite a few buildings within the portfolio can be optimized and realize a potential savings of more than $800,000. Here's an example of a quarterly report. We divide it into 3 categories: cost, building performance, and environmental and planet sustainability category. So the cost and potential savings category highlights the savings with AI-generated recommendations. As we track the savings, BuildFit will use this data to continually refine its predictive analytics algorithm. Our customer base will be owners of large building portfolios from the following sectors, but not limited to, say, office and education, mercantile banking, healthcare, lodging, and of course, public building portfolios at the city, state, and federal levels. We're continually building strategic partnerships within the building industry to ensure that the recommendations from BuildFit will be implemented within the projected ROI and payback calculations. We have multiple competitors, but our key advantage is definitely using the pre-existing data sources already embedded in the building systems so we can offer an extremely competitive pricing. We're not competing against traditional BAS, building automation system companies, but we complement and improve an existing technology. And since we're vendor and technology agnostic, connecting all the dots. Here's our team, and we're seeking 1 million seed investment to build the commercial platform. Again, this is a summary of what we do: key component, big data integration, easy to understand visualization, AI generate recommendation, and predictive analytics for energy savings and occupant comfort. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you on a one-on-one basis.
Perfect timing. Thank you so much. Great presentation. Everyone, this was Azizan Abdul Aziz of Building Ideas Group. Investors, please begin to fill out your feedback forms over the next 2 minutes as we get ready to hear from Dave Lupke of Lumi Shield Technologies. Investors, please complete your feedback forms for Azizan at Building Ideas Group as we move on to Dave Lupke, who is going to present for Lumi Shield Technologies. Dave, thanks for being here with us today. Great background. We can see your screen. Can we hear you?
Can you?
We can. Perfect. I'm going to give you a
Excellent.
5-second countdown and you can begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I'm Dave Lupke from Lumi Shield Technologies, and I would like you to imagine with me for a few minutes. What I'd like you to imagine is that you've been put in charge of reducing the greenhouse gas emissions across the life of a car, not just on the road, but in the manufacturing and the scrapping of the car at the end of its life. That's a difficult ask. And the reason it's a difficult ask is because things that you might do to help you with the fuel efficiency might actually make the manufacturing more complicated and greenhouse gas intensive. But undaunted, you go out and start looking at the factory. And the first thing that you discover seems like bad news, but it's actually good news. And that is that 70% of the energy that goes into an automotive assembly plant is actually going into the paint shop. So you know right where to target your improvements if you're going to make a big impact. So you go looking for a solution and you find us. We're Lumi Shield Technologies, and we've developed a technology called Lumidize. And what Lumidize is a tiny little tweak to your existing factory that will make the paint that you apply to your car stick better. Why is that important? Well, paint that sticks better is better at improving and resisting corrosion. And it means that you can use less of it in fewer layers. And every layer of paint that you eliminate also takes with it a baking step and reduces the energy that you're putting into that paint shop. Even better, it's a safe, sustainable process, so you're not creating any new problems as you do it. Now, that's what we've got commercialized. That's what we piloted out in the field, and we've shown to be a great product. But it also works with adhesives. And that would strike a chord with you, because you also know that another big source of greenhouse gas emissions in car assembly plants is the complexity of the manufacturing itself. And a lot of that complexity comes from mechanical fasteners. There are about 3,000 of them in every car that gets built. And they're heavy. They tend to be made out of things like steel. So that really causes problems when you start trying to make the car lightweight to improve fuel efficiency. But it's even worse than that, because the steel in those fasteners doesn't play nice with aluminum and magnesium and other things you want to make car parts out of in order to get good lightweight cars. So what could you do instead? Well, you could use those lightweight material components. You could use commercial adhesives, And you can use the Lumidized technology in between. And what that would do is supercharge the performance of those commercial automotive adhesives and allow you to have cars stick together with adhesives in ways they never could before. And that means you can eliminate some or all of those 3,000 fasteners. And if you can do that, you can create a new generation of ultra lightweight cars that are more fuel efficient, longer lasting, and actually cheaper to build. And that means that you would be cutting into the greenhouse gas emissions, both from the manufacturing and from the life of the car while it's on the road. And that would be a huge difference. That's what we do at LumiShield. We make tiny little tweaks to industrial processes that have a huge impact on the world around us. And we'd love to talk to you about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Great presentation. Investors, please take the time now to begin your feedback forms for LumiShield Technologies. Dave Lebke, thank you very much for presenting. And in the meantime, let's get ready for Infinirel Corporation, presented by Bert Vunk.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Bert. We can hear you.
Excellent.
Hi all, this is Aishwarya. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. Investors, if you are having any difficulties signing up for meetings or accessing the Zoom meeting link for the one-on-one meetings later today, please send me an email at arajapra@andrew.cmu.edu, and I will immediately add you to the calendar invitation for those one-on-one meetings. Thank you.
All right, investors, please complete all of the feedback and comments that you had for LumiShield Technologies. Dave, again, thank you for your presentation. We're going to move on to Bert Vunk of Infinirel Corporation. Bert, I just want to make sure we can see, I see a beautiful background. I see your presentation. Could you get us in slideshow mode?
I'm afraid I might mess that up because I have multiple screens and it hasn't worked before very well. So
okay.
Don't want to risk anything.
Well, no, understood. We want you to have the best quality for this presentation. So I will count you down in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Good afternoon. I'm Bert Vunk with Infinirel Corporation, founder, CEO, and co-inventor. Infinirel stands for infinite reliability. It's a process we apply to the heart system of large utility scale solar plants like these. We enable a reliability as a service with Infinirel's inverter health scanner. Now, at the heart of each plant are these inverters, and maintenance issues have been reported 9 out of 10 to relate to those power electronics components, which are exposed to harsh environments, fail without warning, are rapidly aging over time, and they're not even in warranty anymore. If we would apply a prescriptive maintenance process, we could also apply the same reliability process not only to solar power, but also wind power, who couples the energy partially through inverters to the grid, electric vehicles, who have their charging system and powertrains relying on power electronics, and the electric vehicle charging stations, which are also relying on power electronics. And don't forget the large energy storage opportunity. We deliver prescriptive maintenance with reliability as a service model to cut unexpected maintenance costs in half. That's to the tune of 6 figures per plant per year for our energy service providers. The solution also extends the asset life, the inverter life, which today doesn't even live up to the forecasted financial plans. And by increasing uptime, we also create more revenue, more electrons from the sun to the grid. The technology is a marriage between our EKG, our heart sensor, that is coupled with machine learning, artificial intelligence at the cloud. This technology has been issued patents in the US and key European countries. Our unique value proposition is that we make our own data pipeline to apply our super fast machine learning algorithms that enables immediate real-time intervention into the business outcome, meaning the inverter actually keeps operating. None of our monitoring firms in the solar industry have been accomplishing that over the last decade. On the inverter companies can't even report too late and too little. This enables a market that's been poised to double in the next 5 years, as we all know, but also the operation maintenance cost, which is already in the red. The pressure on this cost to reduce this cost in the next decade by 70% can only be enabled with a technology such as InfiniRails. And this gives us rise to a opportunity in solar alone to generate $160 million run rate in year 5 with a very high percentage of annual recurring revenues. Our partners in the business is the National Labs Authority for Inverter Reliability, but we also have performed tests in the field with the real plant that you see in the background and raised $400,000 in prizes and vouchers. But most importantly, we have a binding agreement for pilot tests leading to revenue that we like to execute on and additional LOIs in pending. Our team combines industries with high reliability, such as semiconductors, automotive, telecom, and renewable energies. I have started, launched, and marketed 14 power management product lines, including the world's first lithium-ion safety chip. Andy Schneider has, as the Director of Services, reduced the cost of operations for an inverter company who got acquired by Siemens. And Bill Allen started a manufacturing plant for a Volvo joint venture in India. We're also pleased to have Ronnie Patterson on our team, a successful PV entrepreneur. The exit opportunity is 28x revenue. That is the 4 billion exit opportunity we're talking about, with a $160 million run rate going from solar to automotive. We're closing $1 million lead over to a 5 million Series A this year, and I open you to participate in that.
Thank you, Bert. You hit it right on the money. I turned off my alarm, sorry, at the same time, so you didn't hear that sound, but thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. Investors, please begin to complete your feedback forms for Bert Vonk of InfiniRail. Wonderful, thank you. Next on our virtual stage, we are going to have Michael Broker present Epiphany Environmental.
Actually, I believe we have Tom Joseph for today from Epiphany Environmental. So Tom, feel free to share your screen.
My apologies. Yes, Tom Joseph. Hi, Bruce. I just saw your question in the chat. Swaria can send you the form to fill out as an investor if you are, or can answer your question directly. Okay, investors, that is all the time for your feedback forms for Bert Vank and Epiphany Corporation. Up next, we have Epiphany Environmental and Tom Joseph here to present for them. Tom, great background. Want to make sure that we can see your screen and screen share and hear you. I can't hear you just yet.
All right, how about both now?
Can see and hear both. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Joseph, founder of Epiphany Environmental. And as our presentation says, we clean water. If I could get it to go through the slides, I'd be thrilled. There we go. So Epiphany Environmental's primary mission is to clean industrial wastewater. And we mean the most harsh types of industrial wastewater, especially oil and gas produced water, which is around 10 times as salty as seawater. And it's a huge environmental concern and a cost for the oil and gas industry. What's unique about what we do is that our systems are scalable. They're extremely low cost compared to anything else out there. And they're highly efficient so that that allows them to be environmentally sustainable. And we have all kinds of IP protection, obviously. We started working on this in 2014. I actually started the company in 2009 with the original intention of making clean drinking water for the third world countries. We shifted over to industrial oil and gas market in 2014, and we've been working on this ever since because it's just so challenging. And we now have technology available that can save the customers huge amounts of money. We can provide literally infinite reuse of water, which means you can give us salty water, brine, whatever. We can process it, give you back the distilled water, or return it to the environment cleaner than it was when you started. And I'll show you more about that in a minute. And you can just keep doing that. There's no penalty. It's not like making a copy of a copy where it degrades with each pass. We're currently raising a $30 million investment round to fund commercialization. We have several existing customer opportunities that are on hold waiting for us to be able to build and deliver more equipment. And to feed that 30 million round, we're also doing a $1.5 million bridge round, which will allow anybody who participates in that bridge will get a huge discount on the $30 million round, which we anticipate closing in about let's say 5 to 6 months. Our mission is to eliminate environmental impact of industrial wastewater, like outright eliminate it. And by that, back to that infinite reuse. You make industrial wastewater, we clean it cleaner than it ever was, cleaner than you started with. I've already kind of gone over how we've developed these technologies. Industries that we're going after, first and foremost, oil and gas. It's the biggest, the most offensive, the largest polluter of these things. But also right behind that, we're in talks with dairy producers, pharmaceuticals, food processing, textile manufacturing, chemical manufacturing, you name it. And pretty much every industry generates water, wastewater, and some worse than others, and we're here to fix that. Our savings are huge. Compared to other oil and gas disposal options, we're talking, if you take it to centralized treatment, which would be competitors, and there really aren't many out there, we're about a tenth of that cost or better. And compared to taking it to a deep well for injection, we're at least half the cost, and that's in really good places like Texas. Here in Pennsylvania, we're a tenth of the cost or less. So the cost savings is immense. The volumes are immense, and so we're going to make a lot of money on this. This is what the water looks like going in versus coming out. You can see it's just a massive difference, and I'm happy to go through the details of this later. What makes us really special is that we've spent a lot of time on the product design, so that it's designed for mass production, the automation of that, so you don't need a lot of people to keep them running, and supply chain to keep all that fed. We have several different technology options available, and I'm happy to go through more of that if anybody wants to hear about that. Same with the revenue projections. All I can tell you is they're massive. We're talking about a $10 billion industry, and we expect to be able to grow this business into the several hundred million range before somebody comes along and probably acquires us. More about the funding opportunity. Happy to share more about this with each of you individually. But again, we're raising 30 million and 1.5
Thank you,
to
Tom.
feed that. Thank you.
That's the end of your time. Great presentation on behalf of Epiphany Environmental. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Investors, please start your feedback forms for Epiphany Environmental. In the meantime, we're going to get ready to give the stage to Uplift Solar. And here to present on their behalf is Lauren Rosenblatt. Lauren, you can begin to get yourself ready, and in a minute or so, we'll get you on stage. Investors, please complete your feedback forms and all of your comments. For Epiphany Environmental, thank you again, Tom, for that presentation. Lauren Rosenblatt is up next, here to present from Uplift Solar. Lauren, we can see you, you look great, love your background. We can also see your share screen, which is awesome. Now, can we hear you?
I hope so, you tell me.
Yes, we can, perfect. So Lauren, I'm gonna give you a 5-second countdown and you can begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
I'm Lauren Rosenblatt. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and General Counsel of Uplift Solar Corp. We are a young Las Vegas-based company, and we make power electronics that make all solar panels better. I'm not sure how I can advance my screen here. Sorry, technical difficulties. We believe that our market opportunity is, there we go. We believe our market opportunity is because we work with all solar panels, all solar system installations, but particularly we are module level power electronics, which are gaining traction in the overall solar growth landscape. We are unique amongst other MLPEs because we operate at the cell string level, and we use a microprocessor to actively manage current and improve power production from the panel. As a result of this, we perform better under partial shade, and uniquely, we can go inside the solar panel. We can also incorporate intelligence, computing capacity, and communication inside the solar panel and eliminate balance of system costs for that. The benefit of our approach is that we are both multi-format as well as multifunctional. Existing MLPEs do not work well with non-conventional solar power formats because they're physically incompatible, but we can. So we provide the benefits for a variety of solar markets of DC power production, and also offer additional features and functions that reduce their cost for installation and operation. Some of the ways that we serve these niche markets with additional features and functions is we can directly charge control energy storage. We can performance monitor and communicate to installers and owner operators. We melt snow off the face of panels. And my personal favorite, we can administer pay-as-you-go financing for off-grid installations from our tamper-proof and long-lived device inside the solar panel. So where are we today? Well, we've moved out of R&D and we're now actively progressing on commercialization with several different partners. This is an example of how we integrate with one solar panel manufacturer. If you can't tell, we're embedded inside the panel. As a result of these collaborations, we're going live. We'll be doing an installation, a demonstration in Barranquitas, Puerto Rico in April, which will be integrating our power electronics with a solar system that will be powering the cooling needs of an off-grid agricultural warehouse. We work with NREL under DOE funding to put their intra-hour solar forecasting code onto our power electronics. That allows us to sense and gather data from inside our solar panels, edge process that solar forecasting algorithm, and we hope improve solar forecasting outcomes for distributed and behind the meter applications. Here are some examples on this slide of other active co-development we have. As you can see, we do a range of combinations for different features and functions, and we're working on a variety of fronts across solar panel use cases and markets. We have a go-to-market strategy known as bowling pin. So we start with niche markets that have higher margins and lower barriers to entry, and use that as a runway to get into larger markets that might have higher barriers to entry, such as certification. We've been self-financed to date, but we recently took angel investment, and we see taking in more money in 2021 to not only continue R&D, but speed up with our co-development partners. We have a strong team, and we're particularly proud of our advisors who have specific industry experience and have been very helpful in getting us this far. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Even with a slight technical snafu, you hit it right on the mark. Wonderful presentation. Investors, please start your feedback forms for Uplift Solar.
And while we're preparing for all of this, this is Anna Siefkin. I wanted to thank all of you for being here today. Some pretty incredible presentations, and a special note, thank you to Daniela, Aswaria, and Reed for pulling this together. We look forward to hearing your feedback about this event, and we'll have a survey that comes out in the next couple of days so you can let us know more about it. But again, thank you very much for attending today, and thank you everyone, all of you startups, for great presentations, and for investors for being here with us.
Great, Mahir, good to see you. I see your screen share is up and ready to go. Can I hear you to make sure we have a test?
Yeah, hi, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, investors, if you could finish up your final feedback for Optimus Technologies, we're going to move on to our final presentation. Mahir Gada here to present for Dimensional Energy. Mahir, you can start after this 5-second countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Mihir Gada with Dimensional Energy. We are scaling a process that makes sustainable aviation fuel from concentrated solar energy and carbon dioxide. The aviation industry emits over 1 billion tons of CO2 per year. It has committed to reduce emissions to 50% by 2050, but that is not enough. We need a zero emissions economy. Sustainable aviation fuel from CO2 is the only way to achieve carbon neutral aviation. Dimensional Energy has developed a platform to produce zero emissions aviation fuel from CO2 and sunlight. Our process eliminates NOx and SOx pollution and has unlimited feedstocks, unlike biofuels. We are on the path to price parity by 2024. To have meaningful market penetration, sustainable aviation fuel must meet current prices at scale. This is how we make an impact. The more the market penetration, the more the CO2 offset. It is hard to beat aviation fuels derived from fossil feedstocks, but in a zero emissions economy, there is no room for dirty fossil fuels. If you add carbon capture to the new builds of fossil fuel plants, our platform can outperform them over the lifetime of assets. Biofuels are feedstocks limited and in some cases compete with arable land. Also, biofuels can only blend in between 10% and maximum 50% to existing fuels. Other solar thermal and electrochemical methods are costly and far from reaching commercial maturity. We have developed a novel solar reactor that converts CO2 at scale. We are making it possible for technologies in other industries like CO2 direct air capture, hydrogen electrolysis, and form fuels from air using our superior reactor technology and integration software. We use concentrated solar to power all of our subsystems. We reduce energy costs by using pure solar thermal and cut the electricity costs in half. We have completed pilot run of our X-Prize pilot. We are now scaling it up 10 times and integrating a 20 gallon per day air to fuel skid with the goal of getting ASTM certification. We will then scale it up to a 1,000 gallon per day unit with the goal of getting cost below $2 per gallon. We are currently looking for industrial partnerships for this development. The economics of our commercial module are favorable enough to get project finance or to get license for the technology. Our team is full of subject matter experts. Jason has experience with company growth and commercialization. Brad has experience with CO2 conversion and solar technologies. And we have a team of engineers with expertise in reactor design, scale up, modeling, optics, and material synthesis. Our advisory board has expertise in photoreactors, solar photon utilization, and techno-economic analysis. We are currently raising $2 million. We have 1.1 million committed and several conversations going to bring in the rest. We will use the funds to build the demo, hire 3 new team members, and expand our IP and supply chain partners. These have been our supporters through the years, and we would like to thank them. And with that, we invite you to invest in mitigating climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahir. Just a couple seconds to spare. Wonderful. Investors, if you could begin filling out your feedback forms for dimensional energy.
And just another quick thank you to everyone for joining us today. We certainly appreciate having you here at the CMU Energy and Cleantech Investor Forum and look forward to your feedback. Let us know if you have any questions or thoughts about the format. Obviously, this is a new adventure for all of us, and so I appreciate you being here. Thank you again to Daniela Greenman, Aswarya Raja, and Reed McManigal for all of their help in pulling this together.